Welcome back to CNB. Now we're going to talk about that car that I've been promising to talk about, the Fiat Punto Evo. It is a new name because of course there's a bit of a facelift as well, but what's interesting is that the car looks significantly different, looks fairly pretty and attractive, and has been repositioned just like the Linea was as well. Is it enough though? Well, first let's get you the details on the car and then you can be the judge when you know all the prices and the other details.
It's at the 2014 Delhi Auto Expo that Fiat India first shared its plan of bringing 4 new cars to India. 2 out of the 4 are cars we know and weren't strangers to the country. So with the facelifted Linea already launched, it had to be the Punto next that got the scalpel. A long pending facelift in fact, since the global makeover on this 3rd generation car happened in 2009 and 2012, and we received neither. But be that as it may, finally our Grande Punto is giving way to the rechristened Punto Evo. So now let's tell you all about this new Punto Evo, shall we? The hatchback's new face will be exclusive to our market, and so that means it doesn't follow the global design language. So basically, this is now the Indian version of the car and you won't get it anywhere else.
I know what you're thinking. The Punto Evo is a preview of the Aventura, but it was not supposed to be that way. The Punto was supposed to receive a completely different face. But after the overwhelming response that the Aventura got at the Delhi Auto Expo, Fiat was left with no choice but to give it this new face.
Or at least that's the logic the company is giving us. Let's see now. For what it's worth, the classical Italian looks on the European car work better in many ways to create a stronger brand definition. But okay, let's go with Fiat India's take on this. The front end of the Punto Evo receives redesigned headlamps and a completely new front bumper. The hood now sports a bulge with 2 prominent lines running down all the way to the Fiat logo. Now you've got to wonder if the Italian designers at Fiat have taken a cue or two from the Germans here, because as attractive as some folks may find these elements, the car seems to lose its quintessential Italian flair. But to be fair, the new Punto Evo is still a good-looking car and appears more ample than before. The side and rear profile of the Punto Evo more or less remain the same, but the changes continue on the inside. There's an all-new dashboard, and though it looks similar to the one seen on the new Linea, it looks refreshing for the Punto itself. The plastics have a dual-tone black and beige interior theme across the entire lineup, barring the sporty Punto Evo 90, which gets an all-black treatment. The feature list on the top variants is fairly extensive, but it doesn't really add anything new in terms of equipment over what the Grande Punto used to have. So there is automatic climate control, Fiat's Blue and Me Bluetooth connectivity system, which combines CD, MP3, USB with aux-in, Bluetooth and voice recognition. Our peeve with the Grande Punto was quality of the materials, and this cabin sadly continues that tradition. Amir tried to adjust the height of his seat and the plastic cladding on the lever decided to come off. The engine lineup is the same, but on that one not complaining. So there is the 1.2-litre petrol and the 1.3-litre diesel, which have been carried forward from the previous car. There will also be a sporty 1.4-litre petrol engine on offer, and from what we've heard, the Punto Evo will come dressed in Abarth gear with a special version soon. If you loved the way the previous generation of the Punto drove, you'll love this one too. There's a lot of grip on offer and the car is calm and collected at high speeds. The figures then will seem familiar to you. The petrol is surprisingly sprightly, though you do miss the sporty zeal that the 1.4 unit offers once you compare the two. And here's why. There is more power on tap, and the 1.4 also appears to be better mated to the gearbox with good throttle response and quicker gear shifts. And finally, the car that most buyers look at, the very capable 1.3-litre multi-jet that dominates sales not just with Fiat models, but also for all other cars it goes into, like the Swift, the Indica and the Beat. The new Punto still handles like a dream, but having a hydraulic power steering assist has its drawbacks, and the steering might feel a tad heavy when in city traffic conditions. That is, of course, when compared to the electric steering on most competitor cars, the VW Polo and the Hyundai i20 in particular. The Polo just got a facelift too, and the second generation i20 launches next week, which is why repositioning the Punto was in Fiat's best interests if it hopes for any traction for the updated car. Now for the price of the car. We'd expected the Punto Evo to be priced lower than the Volkswagen Polo, and it is. While the petrol Polo starts at 4,99,000 rupees, the Punto Evo kicks off at an introductory price of 4,55,000 rupees for the petrol variant. The diesel range for both starts at 6,27,000 rupees for the Polo and 5,27,000 rupees for the Punto. The outgoing Hyundai diesel started at 5,94,000 rupees. The next generation i20 arrives next week, followed by the Tata Bolt and eventually the new Honda Jazz. Considering the amount of competition that's coming its way, Fiat looks to have got the timing and the pricing right with the new Punto Evo.